It's Eto. So today I want to talk a little bit about spiritual hygiene and spiritual protection and some of my perspectives on why I think it's really important for the developing mystic or mage or magical or energy worker to really establish a not even really daily practice, but a consistent practice of spiritual hygiene and spiritual protection. So, I recently started a new meditative practice called Sitting in Your Power. I'm not going to go too deeply into it because it's part of a course that I purchased and am enrolled in with a mystic teacher that I've been following and learning from for a couple of years. So, the thing about sitting in your power and this meditative practice is that one of the things that it helps you to develop is a sense of your own energy and an ability to recognize your own energy. And not only that, but it begins to help you recognize yourself as energy. One of the more basic concepts in the spiritual field, in the mystic fields, is and this has been translated a bit more into more common terms, um, is the understanding that you are a spiritual being far more so than you are a physical being. That is to say that the you that can be considered the more real you is more of the spiritual aspect of you, is far more the you that you cannot see. And one of the more basic concepts is one of the more basic concepts to get uh, earlier in spiritual development is learning to recognize yourself more as a spiritual being than a physical being. We learn this reading, whatever system that you're reading. It's pretty much shared in every system in one way or another. The truth that you are a spiritual being with a physical body, not a physical body with a spirit. So that basic concept, and this concept of us as spirit is slowly making its not slowly, but has made its way more so into the more material fields of study. People, I would say more common people, can not recognize, but have the concept that you are energy, that you are frequency, that you are living energy, that you're an energetic being. So we got that basic concept, right? We are spiritual beings, we are energetic beings. Now, to get to the point, why I think, not just think, but know spiritual hygiene, spiritual protection is really important. So let's just give a brief visual, I suppose. So really shitty drawing. So hopefully you can see this. You, stick figure, whatever. This is you, right? The body. This circle represents your aura. Your field of energy. This field of energy that you're constantly emanating. This field, this bubble, kind of represents the collection of your thoughts and your emotions, your ideas, and all of this stuff, right? It's because these things, in a way, can be seen as living outside of us, but they are also inside of us because we're multidimensional. In a way, you are constantly breathing yourself. Now, the point I'm trying to make is, so most people recognize themselves more so as this stick figure than this bubble, this aura, right? But the truth of the matter is that you're actually both, because you're a multidimensional being. You are both the body and the field and the being that knows that it is this and not really this. So it's a fun position to be in. So when you can recognize that this is you and this is you, and you know, it is it's not the totality, but it is a summation of how you are expressing yourself in the universe as infinite energy expressing itself in form in the infinite universe. So the reason I'm laying all of this groundwork is because if you can recognize yourself as energy and other people as energy and the world as energy around you, the reason spiritual protection is important is because without it, the view becomes far more like this, where you're swimming in a tumultuous, a tumultuous field of energy. Like you're swimming in this, and you're not just like submerged up to here, but like it's a sea of energy around you, right? There's a sea of energy around you. This energy is coming from many different places, other people, the planet beneath us, the cosmos, higher fields of energy, higher dimensions and realms, lower dimensions and realms. We are in like a multidimensional sea of energy because we are multidimensional beings. Now, I'm not really trying to freak anybody out because we live in this pretty much fairly fine for the most part. But the reason why spiritual protection is important as you begin to develop your psychic abilities is because this energy in the field begins to impress itself upon you more because you're more aware of it. You're more aware of it, so you're going to see it more. It's kind of like the concept that if you go looking for trouble, you're gonna find trouble. You're looking for it, so you're attracting it. So if you're aware that you are in a sea of energy, it begins to affect you more in a way, because you're aware of it. So ignorance is bliss. Ignorance can be a bit of a protection, but we don't deal in ignorance in here. We deal with truth. So when you begin to recognize yourself as energy, living in a sea of energy, you can start to begin to understand the concept of why spiritual protection is important, because you don't really want to be getting tossed and turned in this chaotic sea, right? In this chaotic sea. What spiritual protection kind of does, and I can give some examples of how my life experience was before I began implementing consistent, shielding, energetic shielding practices and stuff like that, or grounding and releasing energy that's not mine. My life was pretty chaotic back then. It was a couple of years ago. I would say I really got not far more consistent, because I've always been consistent, but rather I reached the point where I understood what energy work was a couple of years ago. So before that point, I've been studying spirituality pretty much my entire life, like since I was like 6 or 7 or something like that. So before that, and I'm not talking childhood, I'm talking about like young adult years, the young adult years when you are in charge of your life experience. So my life was pretty chaotic back then, right? As most young 20-year-old lives are, right? I'm in my 30s now, but back then my life was pretty chaotic. I was kind of directionless, I was kind of aimless, and kind of just waiting for things to happen in my life. I wasn't really aware that I was waiting for things to happen, but I was waiting for things to happen, right? And weird stuff would happen. I was like homeless, I couldn't keep a job. I didn't really know what I really wanted, I had ideas, but those ideas weren't really born from within me. They were born from outside of me, from other people. and from society and, you know, things like that. Now, post that point in my life where I began really understanding what energy work is and how to do it. Now, afterwards, I would say comparatively, my life could be considered very boring in a way. And I'm not saying my life isn't exciting. I have a lot of fun. I'm enjoying myself. But definitely nowhere near the level of just chaos and just random shit that would happen to me, right? So I would say that's one big difference. Spiritual protection will protect you just from the ambient chaos that's just in the world. And on deeper levels, it can help protect your mind from errant ideas and thoughts and you know, thought projections from other people or from collectives of people that you identify with or are connected to. These things can get really subtle. So spiritual protection affords you the ability to move through the world with peace. It affords you the ability to just swim through the chaos like you're on a high-speed boat. Like, just breeze through. These things just glance around me, glance around you. So, let's see. Right, so I wanted to share a visual perspective of how you could see this. So like I said, you know, you're like that stick figure floating in the sea, right? So say you're gonna go to energetically shield yourself, right? So one way I like to do it, I like to establish a shield around my aura, right? So, sorry about that. So for someone who, you know, say like for like a beginner mystic or a beginner energy worker or something like that, right? For the most part, you know, they probably haven't done too much inner work. They're probably, you know, their emotional body is probably still on a kind of low vibration, you know, dealing with some old stuff. It's all good. All good. That's the position you're in. That's the spot you're in right now. All good. One of the ways spiritual protection, if you begin to consistently do this practice, and you don't have to do it every day. I probably shield myself once a week, once every 2 weeks or something like that. But I do it all the time. So it's not like my shield goes away or something. I just like recharge it, re-empower it, etc. What this will do, what spiritual protection would do, say you're a beginner mystic, feeling a little low vibrational, right? You establish a shield, right? You establish a shield around you. It's protecting your aura from the random chaos, from random projections, from little impish, you know, constructs of negative energy just randomly chilling in the world. Shit happens all the time, dude. What this will do, say you establish a shield around you, this begins to act like a buoyant bubble, right? That will begin to uplift you, rather allow you to begin rising up through the frequencies, through the vibrations, right? Up and up and up. You begin to start floating up through the sea of frequencies, floating up and out of the dark waters of chaos, up into the light. And the protection will help you remain there. It will help you, stay there and just keep your frequency strong. Now, we all have natural protection. If you don't know how to do energy work, that's totally fine. I don't think you'd be watching this video if you didn't know how to do something. But sorry, I lost my train of thought there. But yes, it brings you up, makes you a bit more buoyant. Yes, that's right. Your alignment will afford you a natural protection as well. Your alignment will, yeah, I mean, it affords you a natural protection. That is to say, right, so the correlation. Your alignment is like your first and foremost, like, defense in a way. Because, like, if you're aligned with good things, just bad things don't happen to you. But we're not always feeling aligned, you know? We're not always feeling high vibrational and divine and godly and in the realms and all this stuff. This is fine. We're alive. We're multidimensional. It's better if you're not always up there, right? So your alignment affords you a natural protection, but what spiritually protecting yourself does, like consciously doing it, does is you can move through your life and world without worrying too much about being beset by chaos when you're not feeling super aligned. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if you're feeling pretty off that day, like, you're not feeling it. You're not really feeling yourself, not feeling it. You know, just do a quick shield, do whatever your quick protection practices. And then, you know, you can go about your day working on getting back to that spot of alignment without being, like, concerned that some weird crap is going to happen in your life. But, yeah. So, thanks for watching this kind of chaotic video. I have been wanting to talk a little bit about spiritual protection, and I'm probably going to keep making videos about this because spiritual protection is one of my specialties. If you can imagine, like, spiritual development is like signing up for, I don't know, college courses or whatever, I ticked off spiritual protection as, like, one of those majors or one of those specialties for sure. Yeah, so that being said, thanks for watching this chaotic video. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below, like this video, subscribe, I guess. Anyway, until next time, I am Eto, your resident mystic.